Hi everyone, Tim Berry with another bankruptcy case, just showing what does make a trust effective. And the reason I wanted to highlight this particular case, and this was the Hoff case out of Texas. It just came out of the Western District of Texas, and it's an appellate case here. Reason why I want to highlight this case is this is a case where somebody was the beneficiary of a spendthrift trust, and the bankruptcy trustee was still able to take things away from them. And this is a really interesting one in that the first couple paragraphs kind of lay down the whole story and just tell you exactly what's going to happen. So here's what happened. In 1990, Grandma, Mary McConnell, created a trust, and it was a spendthrift trust for the sole benefit of her grandson, Terry Hoff. Now, as so often happens in these stories, and it's got to happen, otherwise we'd never find out about him, Mr. Hoff goes ahead and he files for bankruptcy under Chapter 7. Now, whenever he filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy, he tells the bankruptcy trustee, you've got to leave the assets alone inside my trust because it is a spendthrift trust. Bankruptcy trustee comes back and says, you know what? You're absolutely right. This is a valid spendthrift trust. Theoretically, we can't touch the assets inside your trust. However, here's the problem. Whenever your grandmother established the trust, under the terms of the trust, it says that a part of the value can be taken out once you turn age 30 if your grandmother had passed away. Well, she hadn't passed away. And then it says he's allowed to take the assets out once he turns 35 if she had passed away. Well, by the time he was 35, Grandma had passed away and he had the right to take those assets out, but he didn't. He left them in there. So the bankruptcy trustee says, hey, it's a well-known fact. Under bankruptcy law, if you had the right of withdrawal, once you have that right continues on forever and ever and ever. So he had the right to withdraw 1/3 and 1/2 of the trust assets. So whatever rights he had in that trust, the bankruptcy accrued the exact same rights whenever he filed bankruptcy, so the bankruptcy trustee was able to take away the trust assets. What's the moral of the story? The moral of the story is this. A lot of you might have trust that your parents established for you, that your grandparents established for you. And those trusts might have spendthrift language, or you might have established the trusts for the benefit of your kids and grandkids. And just because you hear the phrase spendthrift, you think, okay, great, I'm covered, I've got asset protection. That's not the case. That's not the case. There was another case recently where somebody had the right to take all the assets out of their trust, and if they didn't take the assets out, it would turn into a spendthrift trust. Exact same story there. Because that had the right of withdrawal on day one, that right of withdrawal continued on forever, and so they didn't have the protection. Even if you have a trust that says it's a spendthrift trust, you got to make sure it has all the bells and whistles and it is truly a protected trust.